Hello and welcome. I'm Justin Gibbons, the Justin Gibbons, and this is Hard Games, Hard Issues, the inaugural episode. The point of Hard Games, Hard Issues is for me to play a very hard game and then to simultaneously talk about very hard issues within the video game community and I guess the world at large as well, because I guess that's the only two ways to bring the two topics together, right? In this episode, we're going to be playing, quite obviously, Dark Souls. My goal is to play, or to start playing, New Game Plus, and everything that entails that, while simultaneously speaking about the issue of inclusion within video games, which is something that's been coming up quite a bit with Tomodachi Life, Nintendo, and I guess just about absolutely everything. You really can't avoid the topic of inclusion in this day and age, whether that is from the gaming media at large or any sort of ancillary media blog or consumer level forum or something to that effect. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin our journey to Dranley. Once you start the next journey, okay, yeah, great. I sure hope I got everything. So this is actually my first time playing through New Game Plus. I actually have no idea what. Huh? Okay. I did not know that this was gonna happen. What? What? All right. Interesting. Huh. Huh. All right. Okay. I had no idea that was going to happen. You know, with as much as this game is entirely about playing online and reading messages, and then also reading the online information about it, I have done just about every one of those aspects, and I'm completely blown away that I did not know that was going to happen. Feels very good. I wonder if it has something to do with the character you choose to start as, because I chose to start as a knight, and they start with a falconer gear. Certainly I didn't start with a helmet or that sweet shield, though I have them now. That is interesting. Anyway, let's go ahead and start talking about the issue of inclusion. So, on the topic of Tomodachi Life. So that's basically a game that's entirely about simulating life. Whether that's like, I guess, friendship or relationship. Honestly, I don't know very much about the game. I haven't... Whoop. Oh, boy. Alright, well, I guess they're very serious with it. So I guess it's about simulating life, and I guess you can have relationships in those games. And I suppose that there was a glitch at the very... when they first had made that game. Back in Japan, when they had originally released it out there. To where you could, if you wanted to, get together with... if you were a certain sex, you could get together with the same sex. And that was considered a glitch. And as such, it was fixed due to some sort of save state issue. And I could understand where, if that's legitimate, if that is in fact the case, where you would want to fix something like that, because, you know, I'm part of a company who is working on software themselves, and it can be quite a pain in the ass to fix all sorts of issues. And there are millions of reasons why you would want to fix a certain glitch here or a certain something there, even if it results in something kind of fun. But at the same time, it's very easy to fix whatever the resulting bug was from something that occurred, and then also leave something in place. So Nintendo could have theoretically very easily left in that same-sex coupling if they had desired in the Japanese version. And I'm not going to argue anything about culture, because I honestly have no clue about Japanese culture. So I'm not going to sit here and try to say, the Japanese, they really hate gays. That's kind of what's going on. I have no idea. I know a lot of that stuff is going on in Russia right now, but it's none of my concern what's happening in Japan. And I'm certainly not here to influence whatever their culture is. I'm not gonna sit here and try to play Vulcan with it, say that, you know, certain things should be or I shouldn't interfere or whatever. I'm not going to be Captain Kirk either in that same regard, but I am going to I'm going to try to stray from that. So, we'll let this play out. And then we'll jump back in.
What seems to be the ruckus?
Today I'm drinking a little bit of Dr. Pepper and some Captain Morgan.
Your face. The face of the curse.
Now you guys are probably all familiar with this.
Dead.
I'm not using any modifications.
An
I've tried some of the
undead has come
modifications.
to play.
I think they all look like ass. Complete and total ass.
They all end up here. All the ones like you.
So you may be curious as to
You spoke to
what
that
our stopping
kind
point
old
is
dear,
for playing through this.
didn't you?
What I want to do is I want to either try to come to a conclusion with the topic of conclusion, inclusion, or what I want to do is get to the first boss, as in
Yes.
defeat,
You'll become
not just
one
get
of
to him, but
them.
defeat the last giant.
Hollows prey upon men. Feast upon their souls.
Which on New Game Plus, I feel like I could take care of him.
This is the fate of the cursed.
I think it's worth noting that I think the voice acting in this game was not as good as Demons or Dark Souls.
What is your name?
Certain characters do stand out, but
At least you know your own name.
my character's name is Bethanova.
Here's
See the
your
lady.
reward for sharing. It's a human effigy.
It's where we keep the darkest soul of all.
Take a closer look. Who do you think it's supposed to be?
I'll give you a hint.
Think back, deep into your past.
I would have thought that was supposed to be my hand right now, but I guess when you have armor, it
It's
doesn't
an
show.
effigy of you.
Doesn't look very good close up.
All people come here for the same reason. To break the curse.
You're no different, I should think.
Nah,
Doesn't stand a chance.
I'm absolutely the same as everybody else.
Well, you
And
never
just
know.
as stupid.
Go through the door and trot along to the kingdom.
But remember, hold on to your souls. They're all that keep you from going hollow. Oh, I'll fool you no longer. You'll lose your souls. All of them. Over and over again.
This is them trying to wrap in the gameplay mechanics to the narrative, which they've been successful in the past, and I think it works okay here. Though I would argue that it was better in Dark Souls and Demon Souls. They really didn't join narrative in the gameplay as well, but this is probably the one that I've enjoyed playing the most.
This is a limbo. Fair traveler. I know that you. Why else this lot?
You know what? I should probably skip talking to everybody. I already know what they all say. I'm pretty sure I have. Do I have enough human effigy? I have a lot. I was really playing the game quite a bit before, so I probably don't need too many more human effigies. But anyway, we'll just keep playing. We'll go to town. We'll see what happens. We won't do a no bonfire, no deaths run, because I have a good feeling that I'm not good enough at the game, and I'm just going to die anyway, so. Let's get some of that torch. Burnt out all of my torch in the last playthrough here. Alright. Okay, so let's see, where were we? On the topic of inclusion. We're going to skip through all the tutorial here. So, does Nintendo have a reason to necessarily include all of that stuff? It is their design of the game, and they are certainly welcome to make everything that they want. They don't have to include homosexual marriage. And they absolutely don't have to include straight marriage or whatever it is. But I can see where people's arguments, where they're trying to argue if the game is a simulation of life, or at least kind of an homage or a parody of it, there should at least be some sort of inclusion. of homosexuality. Not necessarily in the form of the sexuality portion of it, but at least the portion to where two gay people can get along in the same non-sexual way that two straight people can get along. And it's not really a matter of one group deserving of more than another. It is in fact a part of life. Of course, this has opened the doors to, I guess, a man and a dog getting together, or a man and a child, or any other number of men and women getting together in various strange ways that aren't normal or part of a species or what have you. And I don't think it necessarily does open itself up to crazy, weird sexual things, but it does open the doors to acceptance, which that's something that's very important to media in general.
Or bearer of the... I will take this... Go
I really
on
didn't
and
like the Emerald.
He who made Drangleic
Emerald
King
Herald, or whatever her
Vendrick.
name was.
Bearer for misery will lead you to...
Tutorial,
grief.
look at that.
You will seek the... There's... Once... So that hope...
One problem, if we can get away from the topic of inclusion for a second, one thing I didn't like about this game was all the exposition just about absolutely every single character had. It was really a pain in the ass. Like, there was less information in the text, or at least less interesting information in the text, about characters that were actually in the game and characters that you met, and really more about ancillary lore characters, which is unfortunate because a lot of the characters in the game seem like they could have been important, but instead they're just kind of talking pieces and at the same time merchants, which I honestly and very personally don't care for. I think that's a huge waste of my interest in other people's. Do you get more shards in this game? In New Game Plus? I have no idea. I've heard that if you fall down the pit and you get all the way down to that bridge down there, there is some sweet red phantom down there, or black phantom, whatever, that will give you a sweet dingy set. So there's an Estus Flag shard. I don't know if I can level it up beyond that. Not a whole lot of red bloodstains out here, as you would expect from these pigs. I remember loading this game up first day on the PS3, and then on the PC, and just seeing all these bloodstains from these fucking pigs. Back to the topic of inclusion. I think you have a lot of media in general right now that's very afraid of coming out on the topic, saying what they may actually think, or what may be against the norm. Because if at some point you come out against, if you sound like you're coming out against homosexuality or inclusion in some way, all of a sudden you're ostracized. So a differing opinion can be a death sentence for most. And I suppose I can understand that, where that fear would be coming from. Certainly coming out here saying my name, the Justin Gibbons, and then openly talking about this kind of subject can, of course, introduce some problems for myself as well. I mean, I know a lot of people, a lot of people who are absolutely as liberal as you can get and have very, very specific opinions about feminism, about homosexuality, about all that stuff. And I absolutely 100% agree with all of them. But then there's also a level of implementation that also must be considered, and the way that all these things are addressed at the same time. And at some point, the idea that criticizing an implementation or having something in a game necessarily equates to disagreeing with homosexuals is also unfortunate, because it's not the case. I mean, I absolutely disagree with a lot of the media, the liberal media out there right now, trying to get their opinions about the gays, and you know, there is a level where some of that stuff I can understand, where some of these Fox News people are coming out, and when they say liberal media, I can see where they're coming from, because at some point it starts to be very sensationalist, and I personally don't appreciate it when at some point it feels like we're bullying Nintendo. These, I'm getting kind of tired of these. If I could have an open letter to absolutely everybody who writes these message, yeah, I get it. It's funny. It tricks people. You got me plenty of times. Absolutely. I'm an idiot, and I admit it. But the illusionary wall ahead stuff, the fake illusionary wall stuff, I don't care for it. It's lame. It should stop. Let's find another way to troll people. Anyway, I can see where like Fox News is coming from when they say all this stuff about liberal media, because we're starting to see it a lot from games media right now, where everything is very much clinging to let's try to fit in inclusion in as many conversations as possible, and it starts to be grating at some point. I understand why you would do it, because the more you talk about it, the more it becomes, a sticking point for people. The more where it becomes something to integrate, the more it becomes something that's acceptable. But at the same time, the more you talk about it, the more it becomes annoying, the more it becomes contentious. You have to pick your places. It's sort of like viral marketing. Kind of the one things about early viral marketing, you saw there were a bunch of books at the time where people would try to come up and they would try to say, oh yeah, just post your stuff everywhere. Doesn't matter what the context is, doesn't matter what forum you're on, just post it, it'll get views, whatever. And that's true to an extent. You will get views, you absolutely will get eyes on, but you also kind of come off as spam at some point. And the more you come off as spam, like the more people hate it, the more of a distasteful view people take of it. And that's not good for anybody involved. Absolutely not anybody involved. I always jumped from that ledge over to there. I didn't realize that it would be a lot easier to just walk over there. Almost fell off right there. So, I can understand absolutely as someone... 5 human effigies. I can understand absolutely as someone who... Like I said, I have a lot of human effigies. As someone who browses 4chan. And I've browsed 4chan for a very, very long time, for just about ever. Where it would seem like a place to house all the miscreants, all the people who are racist, who are sexist, who do hate women. I can see where that sentiment would come across. And absolutely, it does actually house a lot of those kind of people. But at the same time, it also acts as a place that is free from, a lot of the hug boxes that are out there. There are absolutely just about every forum that you can go to nowadays. There's like almost no place to have an opinion in the opposite direction. It's not touch the summon sign. Trying to show off he's got this rune armor here. Kind of rare to get. I have it, but I was invaded. Alright, we'll see how this goes. We'll see if this results in my first death. Definitely the one thing I need is to be invaded right off the bat. Oh, hey buddy. Alright, he gave me a punch. I gave a swing at the air. Very nice. Ooh. I don't know if this guy's got some kind of crazy protection, or I'm just missing. I could be. I feel like this is going to take a long damn time. Take on that mushroom there. Alright, well. So I died. So already off to a glowing start here. Guy's pretty happy with himself. I don't know how he got me there, but hey, that's online games, right? I probably should have busted out some magic there. Kind of put some pressure on him, but, you know, power to him. Anyway. So, let's see. Where were we? Having a debate with yourself can be very interesting trying to play these games here. I can understand where the difficulty lies. Where are we in the case of humanity? We must be people. We must be civil. These guys track you pretty well. Anyway, I've got all this humanity. Let's go ahead and take care of it. You start farming for a while in the regular game, and you just... Once you finish the game, you actually end up getting a ton of stuff. And at least a lot of opportunities. They keep it very, 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 very scarce. About, what is it, like 5/7 of the way through. Once you get all the way through, then you can finally get like reasonable gear or items, or all of a sudden everything is infinite. Kind of weird. Like the latter half of the game becomes very, very easy. There's those human effigies. I'm wearing some pretty heavy armor right now. It's pretty nice. I like to think it's very nice. I'm actually wearing the Ruined Gauntlet, so we were talking about earlier. Havel's, I'm sorry, the Ruined Leggings. Havel's Gauntlets. The Watchers. Throne Watchers? Yes, that's right. Throne Watchers armor, and then Cyan's helm. Which I think this is a pretty solid combination. There's no like intrinsic reason I'm wearing this. At least it gives me very nice poise, which allows me to chip right through enemy armor and stuff like that. Not very useful in player versus player, but player versus enemy. PvE, please. It's very effective. So let's see. Are we any closer to reaching a conclusion here? I don't think so. Not yet necessarily. I mean, the easy answer is to say, yes, absolutely. There is lots of reasons to have more inclusion in games. I mean, I think Dark Souls has, and the Souls games themselves in general, have been an incredible example of some form of inclusion. They have absolutely always had a male-to-female slider, which is something that's been requested on Tumblr and lots of places in regards to discussing male versus female and everything that's in between. Where do my personal feelings lie in regards to that kind of stuff? I think we should be inclusive. I've always thought we should be inclusive. Does every game need to be inclusive? No. Does every game need to have a male to female slider? No. Sometimes a story is better told with a very specific character, a very specific narrative arc, something that is can really only then be tailored to when you have that stuff laid out exactly and specifically. But something to also consider. Oh God, that guy was a piece of cake, a piece of cake in this version. I've got to try out that helm. That helm is probably pretty cool, I bet. I picked up that. I gotta stop picking up stuff. I'm just gonna have a ton of junk in my inventory, and it's gonna take forever to clean out. Ugh, what a pain in the butt all that is. Anyway, oh, there you go. There you go, buddy. Anyway, I've completely forgotten where I was. So it's very important. It is very important to be inclusive, but it's also important to know what games should have inclusiveness. I mean, movies have gotten on very far by themselves without needing to have a lot of that stuff, or having it when they do need it. when it is important. There are lots of movies out there that cater to that sort of thing specifically. They don't necessarily pander to it. I think that's a very easy word to use when you're ready to insult something, or when you're ready to reduce something or be reductive in general. But movies do have their time and their place. The thing about video games is that they're interactive, and they're actually probably the most open form of media that exists today. A lot of people like to argue movies are, but movies only cater to their specific genre. Games can cater to just about anybody. I mean, even though I don't like real-time strategies, in fact, I would say that real-time strategies are outside of my genre specifically. I have still played them. Like, I still have friends who play them. There are lots of reasons to play a game, even though you don't like a game in particular. Lots of reasons. I think there are less reasons. There's still reasons, but there are less reasons to watch a movie you don't like. I mean, some people would argue that, hey, you don't like a movie, you watch it because you want to get a sense of why you don't like it, or you're, being critical of it, or, whatever. Lots of reasons. But video games, there's mechanics, there's atmosphere. There's certain gameplay types that you're just fond of. There's manufacturers who you're just happy to play their games that they've made before. And it's the same thing with directors or actors a lot of the time. But with video games, those elements are more pervasive. Let's get something from the merchant Hag Melentia. I already have all gear that I could ever want. But Pharaoh's Lockstone, always good. A sweet ass key, always good. I wonder what I could be using that for later. I've already got all the rings in this game. I've got all the items that I could ever want. You could do just about everything on a first playthrough, which is actually really nice about this game, is that they include bonfire aesthetic, which games before did not include. Demon Souls and Dark Souls absolutely did not include that sort of thing. And it's made it a hell of a lot easier to just go through first playthrough and take care of stuff. And bonfire aesthetics also make it way easy to farm. Incredibly easy to farm. It's part of the reason why I have so many souls. Just bonfire aesthetic giant lord, just bam, 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 take all that stuff, be all set. Gotta stop picking up stuff. This is actually a problem with my build choice here, is all these very heavy weapons make it very hard to swing anything. But at the same time, I like fast weapons, but they don't have the same kind of range either. And as long as I'm including my bandit great axe along with any very heavy weapon, I can still get that very same kind of swing anime. I forgot to check to see if I could upgrade. I'll check eventually. I'm totally fine. Whee! I can blow this wall up later, which is probably something this method. Horse. I think there's only one horse in this game. I might be wrong about that. Maybe somebody could tell me more about this horse. I really know nothing about it. I would really like to summon. I imagine I would have a lot of fun doing that. But it might defeat the purpose of what we're doing here today. So, and oh shit. It appears that I am summoning a phantom. I think there might be an item. You know what? Fuck it. It's fine. Let's go ahead and play with this guy, and I guess we'll see where we go. I had meant to rest. What is that? The Ilibeth Witch Robe or something like that? One of my favorites as well. Very nice one. But the standard witch gear is also pretty nice. You're making televised content today. Looks like we've got ourselves a caster over here, which is perfectly fine. Anyway, we're gonna throw that old chestnut up here again. I'm gonna guess that, yeah, keys don't regenerate. I know that. You know that. We all know that. Sorry, bro. We're going the long haul. I apologize. If you want to bail out, totally fine by me. Since I haven't rested, I'm going to have to use a little bit of the old repair powder. So, knock that out. And jump back in there. Love that repair powder. Gonna roll over here. Take out some dudes. I'm sure my summon buddy will be doing his kind of thing. I don't remember how he got over there, but I'm sure it is some manner of reasonable. I remember in the PS3 version there being an item down there in the middle. I wonder if that was actually the case or if it was just... If it was just the item falling from another dude. That was probably exactly what it was. I really don't need whatever they're dropping, so no worries, buddy.
Oh.
Yeah, we're just gonna burn through you, my friend, my cartographer, Kale. Let's get that mansion key and we'll all be good, right?
What a joy.
Everything is good. Everything is pretty cool. Oh, I have a lot of wilted dusk herbs too. Oh yeah. That was when I was trying to do more magic casting. I don't do as much anymore, but... oh yes, ladder. Anyway. So we absolutely want to have more inclusion. Absolutely 100%. But as stated, not every game needs it. When you have a game that's designed around specific narrative stuff, that's kind of where you... that's kind of where a lot of people enjoy games being nowadays, and then having an extra layer of inclusion on top of that is kind of contradictory to the design of the game itself. I mean, there's no reason that you can't have that kind of stuff if that is the way the narrative is going. I guess I shouldn't say that, you know, having inclusion is inherently against direction. There's all sorts of people that exist in the world, and there of which will be a part of your story, or could be a part of your story, I should say. See if we can soul this guy up a bit. My understanding is that he's a lot harder this way, but I guess we'll see, huh? Oh, shit. Wasting these souls. Alright, let's Alright, sweet, he's done. I guess let's do some stances here, huh? And let's get that repair powder going. Let's keep going. Like I said, we're playing until the last giant. It's a lot easier on New Game Plus for some reason. Well, I guess once you've grinded out quite a lot, and that's what'll do it for you, right? That's right, that button does not do what I want it to do. Shooting you in your leg. These have got to blow up, right? Alright, there we go. Shortcut. Alright, you're through. Pretty sure there's a phantom coming up here because he respawned when I did my bonfire aesthetic move over here. And there he is, of course. There's our good friend, mild-mannered Pate. Huh. That's a weird place to get a Tide Knight sword, I guess, but... I kneel to you, sir, for your kindness! Let's keep going now, huh? Some dudes will come out here. You and me will have some good times, right, buddy? We'll talk about, you know, inclusion in games, talking about transsexuals, gays, you know, all that good stuff. Life is good, right? Alright, let's keep going. Oh, I don't need to pick up this stuff. Oh, it's so useless. Let's go ahead and put one of these Pharos lockstones in here since I just happened to pick one up. Get some goodies here. But video games, as they're designed, are very interactive. Very, very, very interactive. And some games allow you to have control over exactly how you play or how your character is represented. Like Dark Souls. Dark Souls allows you... Dark Souls allows you to have that element of control and character agency. But in regards to games that should have like more specific, more nuanced character discussion or character design, I think we absolutely could do with more games that have homosexual, transsexual, like alternative characters or representations of people that are more in line with what is considered to be modern, or at least with what is considered to be as diverse as what our culture is today. Does the next BioShock need to be that? No. It would be interesting and it would be compelling if there was someone like gutsy enough. Gutsy enough. I thought maybe that would have done it. Gutsy enough to do something like that. Or, I guess I shouldn't say gutsy, because there's a certain amount of balls that you need, and there's also a certain amount of understanding. And then agency you need to have in that realm to fully understand who those kind of people are, what they're about.
Hello there. Well,
you may need to be that kind of person in general. Get a sense of that. Do you need to be that kind of person every single time? Probably not. I think there's a level of empathy that can be gained for an understanding of that character. There might be some level of authenticity that can only be gleaned from being a part of that world or having an understanding, or at least knowing someone in that. Wow, that's probably the most effective I've ever seen that sorcery used. I've always meant to use aromatic ooze. I don't know why I'm getting all this stuff, but this guy and I, we're having fun, so I may as well keep doing it, right? I'm just leaving all that stuff. He's getting some stuff, so that's good for him. I really don't need it.
well, I hope.
Well, I see you managed to escape. I'm totally not a bad guy all the time. Just like most of the time.
I hope. Be careful out there.
Oh, oh my god. Oh boy. All right. Screwed that up tremendously, right? You start feeling pretty confident with yourself, you feel very much. Eat yourself alive. I couldn't give that guy exactly what he wanted. He spent so much time with me. We were doing so great. I just fucked him. I really did. I feel bad about that. I really do. I feel like I should get him back or something like that. If I can. I don't see his stuff here, though. Oh, well. So it goes. That's fine. At least I can get mild-mannered Pate now, right? I see you've managed to escape. That guy managed to clip me, it seems. That guy managed to really smack me in the face. Alright, let's pop on down. Take care of business. Mild-mannered Pate is all but disappeared. We can take care of this dude. Piece of cake. I took care of him. Grab my shit. At some point, that is more important. Roll! Roll, please! Oh, God. Oh, this is about to end poorly again. Alright, let's tell you what. It's not how you play Dark Souls. Not how you do it. There's a certain level of inebriation. I'm gonna blame this whole performance on that, but maybe I'll also blame my ignorance on every topic here, on that as well. There you go. There you go again. I have the ring that lets you play this game and still look human. And I'm wearing armor that is entirely human, but I just don't feel good not playing human. I have to be human playing this game. Let's go ahead and roll down here. I know there's items that I'm missing, but it's fine. I don't think any of them are important. Except for the extra Titanite chunks down there. That was kind of useful. So, I'll get you, buddy. You were simpler. Oh, jeez. On, there you go. You were simpler. There we go. Piece of cake. I just gotta... That's kind of the trick with this game, is to never be afraid. There you go. And I bet I don't have the Ashen Mist Heart, right? Alas. Alas. Nothing happened. You know what? I have so many of these, and I'm dying before I'm using any of them. Go ahead and try them. I love those mushrooms, though. Anyway. Let's keep going. So it's very important. It's very, very important, I think, to have inclusion in games. 100%, absolutely one of the most important things. But at the same time, I think it's understandable to not have it in every single game. Oh boy. Sloppy. Sometimes there's representations of... I shouldn't have picked that up. There's representations of characters that are only portrayed when they have certain affinities. They have certain aesthetics about them. At the same time, though, I think we do have to come to an understanding that most games don't have these things, and as such, like, we have plenty of, like, straight representations in games. Absolutely. Lots of them. Lots and lots and lots of them. What we don't have are representations of a lot of homosexuals, transsexuals, and stuff like that. We have... Thankfully, this armor set has a lot of protection against fire and magic and stuff like that. And that hard 1-to-1 or 1-to-10 reduction is kind of what keeps me going. We have games like Depression Quest, which I think like, if you listen to what Arnita Sarkeesian said, she was very adamant about saying she wanted some big budget games that had those kind of stories, not little tiny games that were set up that way, which is actually a very difficult thing to have, probably, and that raises a lot of questions about, are video games just a boys' club? Probably not. I don't know. I have interviewed for a few video game positions in my time. I'm working for video games! And of those times that I have, there were lots of women in the workplace. And all of them had very specific things that they liked about video games or things that they were interested in video games. The games that they were designing were not necessarily designed towards them, however, and I think that was an important distinction. It's kind of like the thing where I work for a company right now, and we're... I move away from the microphone to cough. It's important to understand that there are demographics for each and everything that we do. And at some point, if we want to make money, we have to focus on those. I thought there was a dude. Oh, yep. There you go. Hey, friend! Oh, jeez. Wow, you guys just smashing the hell out of me. I gotta stop picking this stuff up. I'm just gonna have a lot of cleanup after all this is done. I really have no brain. I have absolutely zero brain. Hey, come on, where's your brain? You're losing your brain! But, later on in the game, there aren't as many fog doors or fog gates as I recall. Eventually, at some point, they just kind of forgo it and make it so that it's only bosses that have that stuff. See, with items like these, those kind of dudes are way easy. Ugh. A lot of people like to complain about the magnetic tracking right there. That's just poor playing on my part. I'm just letting these guys eat the hell out of me. But as I was saying, Arnita's accusing Margo that she wants more games to have the caliber of story, or at least the themes of stories that you see in smaller games, but have those in larger games. Which, I don't disagree. It wouldn't be bad. As I've said earlier in this whole thing, it would actually be great to have characters that exhibit characteristics that are uncommon in those kind of games. At the very least, to kind of switch it up and make the stories more interesting. Because a lot of games and a lot of movies too at the same time have homosexuals or transgenders as kind of the butt of jokes. At the very least, that's how it is in animes. And a lot of movies out of the 80s and 70s had characters that were designed in such a way. Which kind of makes their scope limited, because everybody, absolutely every single person on the planet is a person, which is redundant to say in the first place. But we are each other. Each one of us has feelings, has a sense of being, has a purpose for doing what we're doing, unless of course we're sociopaths. But not absolutely everybody's a sociopath. Very, very, very few people are in fact sociopaths, and all of those people end up killing dudes or you know, what have you. So it's really, really important to kind of have some level of empathy for your fellow man. To have some level of understanding for the things that one person might go through, for the things that one person may experience over another. And to understand that what they do is exactly the same as you. Their drives are exactly the same as yours. Their purpose are generally the same as yours, even though they have maybe different interests at heart. We all have different interests at heart. We all absolutely have different thoughts and feelings in mind. Like, there are lots of people who like feet. There are lots of people who are into weird stuff. That doesn't make them horrible sexual deviants. That just makes them people who have very specific interests and tastes. And what they do in their own private time is their own fucking business. Absolutely their own fucking business. Now, do we need to have a game that is entirely about foot fetishes, like fucking feet all the time? Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. I guess you can have games that are whatever, you know? Roll! There's absolutely no reason to not have a game about that. I, for one, would actually be very interested in seeing that kind of stuff. Maybe there's someone out there who really has, like, a very specific interest or feeling in regards to... Oh, Jesus, that was... Oh, roll! Has a very specific interest in regards to how feet affect them or how important it is to their everyday being. I mean, I can understand that. I have some weird stuff. Like, I like vaginas. Like, I really love vaginas. A lot. You know? And I guess that's pretty ordinary, all things considered. But Like, and it's probably something that is represented in some level, but not entirely in the way that you see in media all the time. Oh, jeez. There are 100% representations of people and folks that come off. I mean, heterosexual people are often lambasted in ways. You have lots of dude bros who are represented very, very poorly in the media. I mean, dude bro, listen to the way that I said that. That's like a category of people that is very disgusting and horrible. You're not sitting there and saying, like, oh, that's how people accept it. No. Media in general and, like, our culture does not accept those kind of people. Absolutely not. And they're what are considered, like, very heteronormative. And it's an important distinction to understand that that's not the positive role model. Especially when you lambast it, it's definitely worth considering that that is a negative role model. And I guess I could keep talking and keep talking and keep talking, but it seems like we didn't solve the problem necessarily today. And I guess that's totally fine. To compare the issue of inclusion in video games versus the very beginning New Game Plus run of Dark Souls, to compare those two things, I guess it's not very fair. They're two very... One is a lot easier than the other, and I will say very definitively right now that Dark Souls on New Game Plus is a lot simpler than the issue of inclusion. Not just in video games, but in the world itself at large, and in all things. So with that, I thank you. My name is Justin Gibbons, the Justin Gibbons. I'm glad you spent the time with me. Hopefully next time we can get to the bottom of things. Maybe I'll talk about something different so that we don't retread the same topics. And we'll pick up where we left off. Anyway, keep on rocking, keep it sexy, and I don't know, penises and vaginas. Oh God, I really am the biggest loser.